Our species profile for tonight is one that's never been done here before. And there's a reason for that. It's one that I've never reared. And the photographs are going to be really good too, because they're not mine. They're all David Jones'. Indra, the Indra Swallowtail. And David, you're going to have to help me when I make some mistakes on this, because I haven't read this guy. Okay. Indra is a beautiful big black butterfly with white margins around the back of it. We'll be looking at the Anna swallowtail later for comparison. Sometimes they can be a little bit confused. But, this is not a real large swallowtail, and it's one that does not have any tails to speak of, just these little short tails. Really special butterfly. This is one we don't see very often, especially in the northern part of the state. It is more common when you get down to Clickitat County and some of the southern counties. And nice pictures, David. This is the egg, and it's fairly small for a swallowtail egg. A lot of swallowtails have eggs that are 2 millimeters. This is one that's, I believe, several days old, and so it's starting to develop some color. They're pretty much pure white when they're freshly laid. And the larvae. One thing we sometimes see when we're out on field trips is these larvae feed on a variety of carrots, different carrots like Graves lobation. And on the same carrots, we will find the Anna swallowtail. So one thing that always comes up is, what are we seeing when we find the larvae? Is it a Anna swallowtail, or are we really, really lucky and find an Indra? One thing that the Indra swallowtail has that the Anna's does not is it has these sort of parallel rows of white spots. And there's several rows. They're not real obvious rows, but they are rows. And if you look at the Anna swallowtail larva, it has a larger white saddle in the middle. The saddle covers 2 segments, and it's much smaller on the Indra, and the Anna's doesn't have these rows of white spots. So we should be able to tell them apart. Okay, so this is the third instar that just came out of the sticker, and as you can see, it's kind of an orangish color initially. When as the larvae get into these later stages, they have these molly or knobs that stick up, and they start getting branching spines. There's multiple spines, whereas on the earlier instars, this one has them too. They all do in this species. Do you know that, David? There's no single CT on this. They're all branched, even first instar. Right. Yeah. With most butterflies, it's just a single one on the first instar. And here's the third instar. Now you can start to really see these rows of spots, these white rows of spots. And the Anna swallowtail is not going to have that. And again, the Anna swallowtail, the white spot, the saddle, which is supposedly a mimic of bird droppings to deter predators, is much larger on the Annas. And here's the fourth instar. Again, the saddle is just one segment and kind of broken, instead of a big heavy saddle that covers 2 segments. Here's where it starts getting really interesting. Maybe Dave, if you want to pitch in, go ahead. But there's 2 different color phases. We want to talk to that a little.
No, you can.
Okay. Well, I haven't read this, remember. Anyway, there's this black form, which is kind of a handsome larva in of itself, and it has these real distinct contrasting yellow spots. But it also appears in this form, very different. And it's still the same basic black larva, but it has these amazing big white bands going across each segment, and each band has these little yellow tabs. There's 2 on each segment. If you're looking from above, there'd be 1 on each dorsal side.
Might the color phases be mixed up in one brood?
I'll ask the expert.
Yes.
They're built.
Brood, yeah. Different color forms.
Pretty neat. And here's the same thing viewed from the dorsal side. Again, those yellow spots. There's 2 per segment. Very interesting pattern on the head too. It's quite a beautiful larva. And here's this photo of the final instar, the fifth instar that's secreted its little tether, and it's in the process of pupating now. And then the pupa. And David found that these occur in two different color phases. There's a green one like this, and there's a brown one. And actually quite a few of our swallowtails have the same double characterization in the pupa. Here again, here's this beautiful big butterfly. Well, it's not huge. It is a swallowtail. All swallowtails are big, but this is one of our smaller swallowtails. And for comparison with the Anna swallowtail, watch especially this part of the wing, the forward 60% of the wing. And here's Velcan, the Anna swallowtail, thank you. And you notice that you don't have a big black area here. It has a bunch of infusion. And Zelican, all of our yellow swallowtails can at times be pretty pale, so these yellow spots can be whiter. And there's been times when I've seen one fly by and I wondered, is that Annis or is that Indra? But again, big, black, unmarked, or without any white spots, the whole front of the wing on Indra, and then in the Anna swallowtail, you have this much more markings. Here's one of the food plants. This is Lomatium grayi, or the grazed desert parsley. And this is very common in eastern Washington. We see it heavily coolly. We see it all over. It's one of our first flowers to bloom in the spring. We see things like the Sheridan's Hair Streak nectarine on this plant in the spring. And this is one of the plants you find the larvae on. Up at Slate Peak, here's another Lomatium. This is Brandegii, and larvae will use this species as well. Did you find it on any other Lomatiums, David?
No, it was the grayi.
Okay. And that's the beautiful Indra Swallowtail, and thank you, David, for the beautiful pictures. Any questions? Direct them to him.
Yeah, I missed the answer on whether different larviform colors will show up in the same brood of egg.
Yes.
They will. Okay, thank you.
Do either Annis or Indra use the big Columbia parsley, or?
Which one is the Columbia? Is that
That's the Lomatium columbianum.
The Lomatium with the dark maroon flowers.
Yeah, there's another name for that. They probably do. I haven't, especially Anna's probably does, but I haven't seen either of them on it myself. And actually, the Anna's is found on a lot of the parsleys, even cow parsnip and angelica and a whole bunch of different things. But Indra is a much less common butterfly in Washington, and so we've found it on fewer species. Anyone else? Okay, thank you.
Another question here.
Oh, yes.
If we were looking for the larva, what time of year would be ideal? Is this a butterfly that occurs or early? Is this a category that occurs early in the season?
With Anna's swallowtail, well, actually, with most species, you find them over quite a range of elevations. And so you can find, I think, either one of them at high elevations, clear into maybe early August. But at lower elevations, I think you're going to be looking for them in late May, early June. That's not right. Something like
Late
that.
April sometimes, too.
Yeah. And it's considered quite a feat to find a larva of Indra. Anybody who finds it is usually celebrating. It's a good one to look for. And but if you look for it down in the gorge, you're more likely to find it in most places.
So you said only those two host plants recorded, Lomatium grayi and Brandegii?
There are some others that we are walking, I can't remember. There's a range, there's at least 3 or 4 species, I think. But we haven't seen them, or I haven't seen them on anything else with grayi. You've seen more Brandegii.
Yeah, it's right up the state. You could probably walk by and you didn't notice them. But there's another I noticed that's often quoted that's not even Lomatium.
Yeah. The waxy turpentine thing.
Yeah.
I knew there was another genus thing I thought Indra used, and the name was not coming to me. You don't remember the genus, Steve?
PT something. The word begins with PT.
I'm rusty with these things. I knew it before.
There's that one that's the turpentine thing.
Yeah.
That's one, that's in a different genus. Turpentine, sorry, I remember.
Thank you.
I can bring that up.
Look it up.
Okay, thank you.